Hello. Today we're going to look at how to create and manage classrooms in the Arizona Early Childhood Workforce Registry. Once you log into the registry, on the left-hand side, you should see this program administration link. If you don't see that, that means that either someone else at your program has administrative access or you haven't requested it yet. Once you get that and you log in as the administrator, click on the Program Administration tab. And then you should see a box here that has the name of your program at the top. If you're an MSA or a multi-site administrator, you'll see several boxes for the programs that you oversee. You will need to do this for each individual program. Go ahead and find the Build Manage Rooms link and click on it. And then you'll see if you have created classrooms in the past, you'll see those listed here. Otherwise, this will be blank until you start creating rooms. So to start, we're going to click Add Room, and then we'll fill out the name of the room. So I'm going to create my infant's room. And then it's going to ask us classroom active. So if you have a program where you have a room that's only open seasonally or rooms that open and close based on enrollment, when the classroom is active or open, you'll have that box selected. If the classroom is closed for a period of time, you'll want to go in and unselect that box. Then we'll go ahead and add age group. So again, this is my infant's classroom. For the next portion, the room details, you're going to be thinking about the specific individual children who are in that classroom. So number of children who are non-English speakers. So for Spanish, I'm going to select the number. And then other languages spoken besides Spanish and English. So there's a couple things you're going to do here. First, you're going to select the total number of children that speak languages other than Spanish and English. And then you'll select the actual languages that they speak. So maybe I have one French speaker and one Chinese speaker. So if I click French, you'll see it populates, it adds that down here. But if I also want to select an additional or additional languages, if I just click on it, it clears out that first language that I had selected. So I'll need to click on French, then hold down the control key on my keyboard and then select the additional languages. You'll see those all down below here. Next, I want to go to max group size allowed by age. So I'm going to select 8 for my classroom based on the size. And then ratio is maintained. So I have 4 to 1. And then license capacity by classroom or home setting. So the first is based on the size of the classroom, and the license is what my license actually states I'm allowed to have. Now, some programs, depending on the specific program, that might not be applicable to you. So then you would just leave it say NA. But I'm allowed to have 10 infants in my classroom based on the license. But again, based on the group size, it's 8. Next, thinking about the specific children in my classroom, how many have an IEP, an IFSP, or special health needs? If I do have some students that identify in those categories, I would just select the number here. And I do have 2 food allergies in my classroom, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then I'm going to add today's date. So if I log into the registry and look at my classrooms a year down the line and I see, oh, I haven't updated the number of children in these categories for the last year, I would want to make sure that I would go over that information. So this is just a reminder of when you last looked at those numbers. Next is enrolled by age. So here is the max group size, the licensed the size for licensing. This is how many are actually enrolled in your program in that specific classroom. So I have 8 that are all under a year. And the last thing will be to add the days and hours of operation. So we are a Monday through Friday program, and we are open 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if there's a day that you open later or you open longer, you would reflect that here. If you're open on weekends, if you're open overnights, those are all things you can add in this section of your program. Once I have that done, I'm going to update room info. And it will take me back to that page. Now I have both the infants and the little tigers rooms showing up on my classrooms. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and add and manage staff. So if I click that there, It's saying, "Oh, you don't have any staff associated with this classroom yet." So I would click the Add Staff button, and now it's asking me for the people that work in that classroom. So for the actual employee, I will click the drop-down box. I will select Alan, and Alan is the teacher in that classroom. Now, if I want to add additional staff, I do have 2 working in that room. Select Kimberly, and she's the assistant. And I'll update staff info. Now, if you go to add a staff and you don't see them listed here, that means they either aren't connected to your program, so they need to add you as their employer in the registry, or it could be that you haven't actually confirmed that they work for your program yet. So let's go ahead and look at that. We are all done with classrooms, other than if you needed to go back and edit something, or I'm sorry, here we're still on staff, so you could edit or delete. The only way to get back to the classroom now is to click Program Administration and click Build and Manage Rooms. That's how you get back. So you can edit that classroom, you can delete it if you've totally changed your setup and you're never going to open that classroom anymore again, and again, add and manage staff. But let's take a look at how to make sure all of those staff show up when you want to add them as a staff in a classroom and you're not seeing their name. So again, if we go to Program Administration, and under that specific program, I'm going to look for the word Staff Confirmation. I'll click on that. And this is going to give me a list of all of the people who have logged into the registry and said, this specific program is my employer. Until you confirm their employment here, they won't show up on that list. So let's see if there's anyone. So Becky Admin Johnson, this person, Daisy Test, Darlene Test, none of these people are going to show up as staff that I can link to a classroom until I go in and confirm their employment. So I want to go ahead and say yes. While I'm doing this, just a quick reminder that when you select yes, you should make sure they started, this is the date that they started their employment. If they have ended, if they no longer work with you, that's the date that goes here. Is that job role accurate to what they do? And is their salary, wage information accurate to how much they're actually making? Is it reflective of what they're actually making? Once you're done, if you don't scroll to the very bottom and confirm employment information and say, yes, I'm confirming these people, you will not have them show up. So let's double check. We'll go into Program Administration, Build Manage Classrooms, Add Manage Staff, Add Staff. Now let's see. Becky Admin Johnson, Darlene Test, Daisy Test are all showing up because I went in and confirmed their employment. All right, so you should be all set on adding and managing classrooms for your program in the registry.